Hi, Brooks. Can you hear
Hey,
me?
how's it going?
Good, good.
Excellent.
So
And
I
again, I'm so
have,
sorry I missed the other day.
it's totally okay. It
It was a hectic
happens.
day.
Oh, I get it. I really do. I taught a professional development this morning and technology wouldn't let me sign
Oh,
in. So, yeah. All right. So I just have a few different questions.
sure.
And then, so it shouldn't take too much of your time. So prior to becoming a school library media specialist, what did you do?
So for 18 years before I became a librarian, I taught elementary school. Started off in first grade, jumped up to fourth grade, and then I kind of bounced around from fourth to fifth grade intermittently.
Awesome. So, what inspired you to pursue a degree in school library and media?
I have always just loved books and reading, and the library was always a place where I felt like, it was the one spot in school where, you know, I could come in, like in middle school especially, and just be untouched by all these other people, mean people and stuff in school. So I thought I want to make sure I want to build like a place like that here at Cherokee Middle School. And the previous librarian had done a phenomenal job of doing that. And I just kind of wanted to continue that. And I wanted to be a librarian for so much longer than what I have been. It
Hmm.
was just that hesitancy of going back to school and the money to go back to
Yeah.
school. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
just
Awesome. Now,
love
where
of
did you actually receive your training and degree?
MTSU right there,
Okay.
my alma mater. I got my undergrad degree from there, so I wanted to go back to MTSU.
Awesome. Now, is there anything that you did not actually receive in your educational program that you wish had been included? I had one person say cataloging, just, anything that you think that really could have
Hmm.
helped a little bit more in your transition to become a librarian.
The cataloging, I feel like my program did a really good job of preparing me for it. I think probably if I had to pick something, it would be the budgeting aspect. And I kind of understand why, because so many, schools have such varied budgets, and some
Hmm.
libraries have so much more money than other libraries. But yeah, I think it was just the budget and how to, just maintain a budget and like what accounts, because I just thought like when you go to the library, there's going to be like library account, everything comes out
Yeah.
of there. But there's like general funds account, there's this account, there's ADA account. And I was just so
Yeah.
overwhelmed when I first jumped in. But
Gotcha.
a little bit more of just understanding the money aspect of it would have been
Hmm.
great. But
Yeah.
after you do it a couple of times, you kind of figure it out. So
Kind of get used to it. Yeah. Now, what professional organizations are you currently a member of?
I'm a
Any?
member of ALA,
Okay.
I'm a member of ASL and Tassel, Tennessee
Awesome.
Association. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, how
And
did
RCEA and TEA as well.
yeah, how do you determine the collection needs of your library?
I do a couple of things. I do weeding a couple of times a school year and kind of monitor just like what books are not getting checked out. I do a
Hmm.
collection analysis a couple of times during that period, just to see what books haven't been checked out for very long. So I try to pull those books first, incorporate them into lessons, and if there is some interest and kids just didn't know that those books existed, awesome. But if there's no interest, I may decide like, okay, time to get those books and try to update some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I do a lot of student surveys about what books they want to see in the library, and that's honestly the biggest help that I have gotten.
Oh, I bet.
Because I mean, I'm building this collection for the students. I want
Hmm.
the books on the shelf to be things that they are, have high interest in, and they want
Hmm.
to see on the shelf. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. It's awesome to include them in that process. Now, talk to me about your background in technology prior to becoming a media specialist.
I mean, I don't have any formal training in
Okay.
technology, just kind of, the usual understanding
Hmm.
computers and things like that. We didn't really have like a technology class in my
Hmm.
grad degree. But yeah, just not
Yeah.
really.
No. So that kind of goes into this question of
Okay.
what role do you play within the school as far as like technology? Like, do you help any with the technology, or that just kind of separate altogether?
It is for the most part kind of separate here at this school, at least. I'm not the technology person. We have a
Hmm.
computer teacher who is kind of adopted the technology, the inventory with the Chromebooks and everything
Mhm.
else. Um, I'm more of the, I guess, supply center for her. So if she has to order like a lot of, different components for the Chromebooks
Mhm.
or different things for her room or for the whole school, we'll find a spot in the library to store them, and I'll kind of, maintain a running record of like how many we have, how many we need, things like that. So
You're the
I'm
middleman.
more of the less of the tech person and more of just the cataloging of the technology.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, as far as reading for pleasure, what genre do you enjoy and what are you currently reading?
I am finishing up a book by V.E. Schwab. It's The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which is so good. It's, I guess you would call it adult romance, but it's not heavy on the romance. It's fantasy,
Okay.
not really fantasy, maybe kind of fantasy. It's fantasy, but it's so good. Her writing is phenomenal. I get jealous for everything I read by her. She's just such a good writer. On the middle grade side, the last thing I read, I believe, was a graphic novel. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember the graphic novel, but it was a really good graphic novel. Oh, it was Dan Santat's new
Okay.
graphic novel, like his memoir.
Mhm.
So good. What I
That's
prefer
awesome.
reading, I don't know. I kind of get on weird kicks where it's like I just want to read things that are like fantasy, magic, other worlds,
Hmm.
and then I get on kicks where it's like I want super super sweet stories, and then I go right to like I want monsters and violence. So
Yeah,
it kind
that's
of
good that you have a
depends on how I'm
variety.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what role do you see the school librarian and the school library playing in the overall reading program at school? Now, I got to observe you doing a creative writing lesson, which was really cool. But like, what other ways do you see them, like the school library, contributing to the overall reading program?
So trying to supplement as many different texts as possible that
Hmm.
kind of kind of carry forward some of the
Yeah.
lessons of our reading teachers is something I try to do. I think we may have talked about the Amplify
Yeah.
program that
Yeah.
none of the teachers here, I don't think any teachers anywhere are a big fan of
Yeah.
because it is so prescriptive, but
Mhm.
it's just like there's not a whole lot of freedom with that program. So
Yeah.
like our seventh grade is working on, or they're beginning to work on a Edgar Allan Poe unit. So next week
I
we're going to
love
be
that.
doing a Edgar Allan Poe Fall of the House of Usher escape room. So anything that I can try to pull from their lessons and
Hmm.
touch on somehow and show them that, hey, there are books that, you're reading about, Greek and Roman stuff and social studies or
Yeah.
learn about that. We've got books that have that stuff in there.
Yeah.
So I was trying
And I
to, I'm more of
actually,
like the hype man for like the other teachers. I'm like, yeah, you're doing this. Look at these books we got. Oh my gosh, it's so
mhm.
cool.
I actually just finished House of Usher on
That
Netflix, and I loved it.
was so well written. I
So
loved it so
good,
good. Oh my God, it
so
was awesome.
good. It was. Now, how do you encourage struggling readers?
Try to I'm a big believer in graphic novels. I am
Hmm.
not that type of I've never been that type of teacher. It's like graphic novels
Hmm.
aren't real books. Comics, graphic novels, honestly, those are perfect text
Yeah,
for struggling readers because,
they keep them
especially present it
engaged.
as this is a real book. This is a real
Hmm.
story. This is not just a small kid's book.
Hmm.
Um, and they see that, there's very limited words on the page, things like that.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's honestly one of the biggest ways that I've been successful trying to reach some of those struggling
Yeah.
readers, putting some of those books in their hands. And those can kind of become like little stair steps to
Hmm.
more complex books.
Yeah, awesome. Now, how do you encourage professional reading among the faculty? I saw that you have
Ooh,
some good relationships with them, but how do you help promote them reading?
I've got in this room back here of the office, there's like
Hmm.
a teacher room that has like different supplies that they can check out. I started a teacher library that has like
Awesome.
books that I feel like maybe they would
I like
like
that.
and just many different genres, including some in nonfiction. Some of them use that. Some of them will come in and
That's
be like, "Hey, I'm
awesome.
gonna get one of your books," and that's cool. Also try to like on the bulletin board displays, do things like throughout the year where it's like, so and so's reading
Mhm.
this, your teacher's reading this, but
Yeah.
that hasn't been as successful. I'm still struggling on how to
It's a
try to.
start. I think it's great. Yeah. Now, do you normally or have you led any professional development in your school, or like with technology, library resources, or anything like that?
Not within the school, but I've done some at other like conferences
Okay.
that, yeah, where I've, just some lessons that I've had a lot of success with where
Mhm.
I just thought like, oh, this would be cool to like share with other teachers, and I've done things like that.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, how do you ensure your own continued professional growth?
I following those organizations that we talked about are,
Hmm.
yeah, I think those are amazing. Learning from librarians who have been doing this
Hmm.
longer, who are far smarter than I am, who are
Hmm.
more savvy and can come up with even better ideas than I think I could ever come up with. Learning from them, I think, has been the biggest thing that kind of helps me continue pushing
That's
myself to
awesome. Yeah.
do better in the
Awesome.
library.
I get that daily ALA email. I'm like, oh,
Yes.
it's time. Now, what steps can the school librarian take to encourage reluctant teachers to utilize the library? Now, I know you do teach a few classes, but those teachers that you don't see, how can you encourage them to come in and use you?
Hmm. I think that's a great question. Trying to get them to use the library.
Hmm.
Trying to make sure that they understand that in the library, it's not just books. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, primarily books, but we have so many other materials. We have,
Hmm.
all sorts of resources that, are available to them, and frequent emails, reminders. I subscribe to the Scholastic magazines like Scope and
Hmm.
Storyworks. And every time we get a new issue in, I send out a little email blast. The new, issues here, and I take a little
Yeah.
picture of it just to show them. And some of them have, taken the bait, I guess, and they've like, hey, I'm going to
Hmm.
try these. And a couple of them have grown to really like the
That's
magazines, but
awesome.
just constantly reminding them. So
Yeah, that's good. Now, what are some of the ways that you're able to generate funding when school or district budget run out or are non-existent? I know we kind of talked about that the other day, but are there any ways that you can raise money outside of set budget?
the book fair is
Mhm.
a big help to raise money, although with the, I don't know, I've had some success, but also not as much success in some years. Book fair is good. It could be
Yeah.
better. I haven't really thought about doing any grants or anything. Oh, that may
Mhm.
be a good thing to like, the thing that I wish my college courses kind of helped me on is like grant writing.
Grants.
There's
Yeah.
so many amazing grants available. I just am not sure exactly which ones I should be going
Mhm.
for. So if you have any idea,
I
send that.
actually have a list that I will send you. That is
Yes.
one thing that I actually had to complete an assignment on completing a grant. So yeah,
Nice. Excellent.
yeah. So I'll send you that list. Now, what are the expectations of your school admin regarding the library program?
Let's see. Just to maintain a updated, diverse collection.
Okay.
Um, we've had some issues, and we continue to have issues with,
Hmm.
parents picking certain books that they don't want to see in the library. So me and the principal have decided any list that I'm going to make for orders, I'm going to run that by her first. She's going to
Hmm.
take a look at it so she knows ahead of time which books might be ones that certain parents go, is this book okay?
Yeah.
So I make sure that anytime there's a book on there that could possibly be questionable, I try to pull as many positive reviews as possible from like, Book List or Kirkus or something
Hmm.
like that, just to
Awesome.
show that it has a lot of merit and it needs to be in this library.
Yeah. Now, I know that you don't have a parapro, but you do have students who like to help. Do you mind
Yeah,
explaining just kind of that little process for me of them applying and
sure. So at the beginning of each year, I let seventh and eighth graders apply to be members of the TLC, which is our Teen Library Council. And they have a little questionnaire that they fill out, just like 3 or 4 questions. And I get some teacher input about like, which students do you think would be great fits for the TLC, responsible ones, good behavior, things like that. Or maybe ones that aren't really fitting into any other clubs, and it would be nice for them to have an outlet. I like to choose those students as well. And they come in anytime their teacher lets them, and they'll help me shelve books, check out books. They'll help me decorate and plan. It's really fun to have them in here.
awesome. And it gets them in the library. I mean, anything to get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this is the final question. What advice would you give to someone just entering the field of school library media?
Oh, I would say don't be disheartened. You're gonna hear so many horror stories about book bans and groups out there who want to defund libraries and eliminate school library positions. Librarians, I have learned, are such a tight-knit group of people, and we
Hmm.
stick together through like no other group I've ever been a part of. I mean, we have each other's backs, pretty fiercely. And
Hmm.
the organizations that we're part of are also on our side, and they will do everything they can to help us, to advise us, to protect us.
Yeah.
So I think that would be my advice.
That's awesome.
Stick
I
with it.
actually, I've noticed how tight it is and how everybody knows everybody in this small
Yeah.
community. I mean, we're in different counties, but I observed Travis Tidwell yesterday, and
Cool.
he spoke very highly of you as
Oh,
well. So yeah, so I think it's great. I really want to thank you for letting me come in and observe for a little while, and just for doing all this with me. I really appreciate it.
absolutely.
And I'll email you that list a little bit later today.
Thank you so much. That'd be
You're
perfect.
so welcome. Thank you so much.
We'll see
Bye.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.